The hammer slipped from my sweat-slicked hand, clanging against the concrete floor of the garage like a gunshot in the dead of night. And in that split second, I saw it, Mr. Harlan's shadow flickering across the half-open door, his eyes locked on me with a hunger that twisted my gut. "Jason," Alex whispered from the ladder above, his voice cracking like splintered wood. "You okay down there?" But I wasn't. The air thickened with the scent of fresh-cut pine and something far more dangerous, betrayal, already blooming in the dark corners of this crumbling family home. I forced a nod, my heart pounding against my ribs like it was trying to escape the toolbox of my chest. Alex descended the ladder with that easy grace of his, all lean muscle and boyish grin, wiping sawdust from his jeans as if the world hadn't just tilted on its axis. We'd been at this for weeks, tearing down walls in his family's old Victorian in upstate New York, the kind of place that screamed faded glory, with creaky floorboards and wallpaper peeling like old regrets. It was supposed to be simple. Help my best friend fix up the house before his dad sold it, pocket some cash for my own broke-ass student loans, and maybe, just maybe, steal a few moments where the sawdust blurred the line between buddies and something more. Alex and I had danced around it since college, late-night confessions over cheap beer, shoulders brushing in crowded bars, that one drunken kiss under the fireworks at our graduation party that we'd both pretended was the whiskey talking. But here, in the humid summer of 2025, with the Adirondacks looming like silent judges outside the windows, ignoring it felt like lying to myself. "Earth to J," Alex said, snapping his fingers in front of my face, his blue eyes sparkling with that mix of mischief and affection that always made my stomach flip. He was 24, like me, but carried himself with the effortless cool of someone who'd grown up summers on the lake, fishing poles and fireflies his earliest memories. His hair was a sun-bleached mess, curling at the nape of his neck, and when he laughed, which was often, it lit up the dimmest rooms. "You zoning out on me again? Or is it the heat? We can call it for the day." Crack open those IPAs in the fridge. I picked up the hammer, flexing my fingers around the worn grip, trying to shake off the chill that Mr. Harlan's gaze had left behind. "Nah, I'm good. Just thought I saw a rat or something." The man wasn't a rat. He was a wolf in khakis, all polished smiles and calculating eyes. Robert Harlan owned half the real estate in Saratoga Springs, flipped houses like poker hands, turning Rust Belt relics into million-dollar McMansions for the weekend crowd from Manhattan. Alex hated it, the way his dad treated everything like a transaction, including family. That's why we were here, to renovate enough to bump the sale price, but keep the soul intact. Or so Alex thought. We worked in companionable silence for a while, the radio humming classic rock from the 80s, Springsteen wailing about highways and heartbreak, fitting for the stretch of Route 9. I sanded the oak trim while Alex patched drywall, our movements syncing like we'd rehearsed them. Every now and then, our hands would brush passing tools, steadying a ladder, and the air would crackle, electric and unspoken. God, I wanted him. Not just the physical pull, though that was there in spades, the way his tank top clung to his back, sweat tracing lines down his spine. No, it was the quiet stuff, the way he'd hum off-key to Thunder Road, or pause to sketch wild ideas for the kitchen on a scrap of plywood, his brow furrowed in concentration. Jason Ellis, the straight-A psych major from Buffalo who'd analyzed his way through 4 years at SUNY Albany, reduced to a puddle by a guy who fixed engines for fun. By dusk, the garage glowed amber from the setting sun, and we collapsed onto the tailgate of Alex's beat-up Ford, beers in hand, feet dangling like kids. The house loomed behind us, half-gutted, wires dangling like veins. "Thanks for this, man," Alex said, clinking his bottle against mine. His knee pressed against my thigh, warm and deliberate, or maybe I was imagining it. "Dad's been writing me about the timeline, but with you here. Feels doable. Like we're building something real." My throat tightened. "Yeah. Something real." I took a swig, the bitter hop cutting through the dryness. In the distance, thunder rumbled over the mountains, promising a storm. And as if on cue, headlights swept the driveway, Mr. Harlan's sleek black Escalade, pulling in like a predator staking claim. He stepped out, all 6'2" of him, silver at the temples, tie loosened after a long day closing deals. "Boys," he drawled, that southern lilt he'd picked up from some long-ago business trip clashing with the Yankee chill. "Making progress. I see." His eyes flicked to me, lingering a beat too long, praising. Alex stiffened beside me, but I just nodded, polite as pie. "Evening, Mr. Harlan. We got the east wall framed today. Call me Robert, Jason. We're practically family." The word hung heavy, laced with something I couldn't place. He clapped Alex on the shoulder, harder than necessary, before vanishing into the house, leaving the echo of his cologne in the air. Expensive, overpowering, like ambition bottled. That night, I crashed in the guest room upstairs, the one with the lumpy mattress and view of the backyard fire pit. Sleep wouldn't come. The house groaned like it was alive, settling into secrets. Around 2 a.m., I heard it voices, low and urgent, filtering through the thin walls. Alex and his dad, in the study below. "You're wasting your time on that boy, son." Robert's voice rumbled, smooth as bourbon but sharp as glass. "Jason's got potential, sure, but he's not the future you're chasing. Dad is not like that. He's helping me, us." "And what do you mean, chasing?" A pause, heavy as lead. Then, softer, almost paternal, "I've got plans for this place. Big ones. And Jason, he fits into them better than you know." My blood ran cold. "Plans? What the hell did that mean?" I pressed my ear to the floorboards, heart hammering, but the conversation dissolved into murmurs, then silence. When I finally drifted off, dreams tangled with hammers and shadows, Alex's face morphing into his father's, both reaching for me, one with love, the other with chains. The next morning dawned sticky and overcast, the storm holding off like a threat. Alex was all sunshine over coffee in the kitchen, flipping pancakes with exaggerated flair, but I couldn't shake the unease gnawing at my insides. "Sleep okay?" he asked, sliding a plate my way, his fingers brushing mine again. Deliberate this time, I swear. "Fine," I lied, forcing a grin. "Just excited to tackle the porch today. Those railings won't replace themselves." We dove in, the work a welcome distraction. Sawing balusters, staining the fresh wood a deep mahogany that gleamed like promise. Alex blasted a playlist, indie folk mixed with pop-punk anthems, and we sang along, off-key and loud, the kind of joy that felt stolen from the world. By noon, sweat-soaked and triumphant, we took a break on the porch steps, sharing a thermos of iced tea. His shoulder slumped against mine, casual but charged. "You ever think about what comes next?" he asked, voice soft, eyes on the horizon where the Catskills rolled like green waves. "After this gig." "After everything." I swallowed hard, the question hanging between us like a live wire. "All the time. Therapy gig in the city, maybe. Or grad school." "You," he turned, close enough that I could count the freckles across his nose. "Staying here. Fixing up old places. Making them mean something." His gaze dropped to my mouth, then back up. "With the right person." The air stilled. My pulse thundered in my ears. "Alex." But then, tires crunched on gravel. Robert's Escalade again, early for lunch. He emerged with a cooler in hand, steaks, beers, the works like we'd planned a barbecue. "Thought I'd join the fun," he announced, firing up the grill with practiced ease. "Family affair, right?" Alex rolled his eyes but played along, and soon we were sprawled on lawn chairs, the sizzle of meat masking the tension. Robert dominated the conversation. Tales of high-stakes flips in the Hamptons, veiled digs at Alex's artistic detours. But his attention kept drifting to me, questions about my major, my plans, his laugh booming when I mentioned my side hustle tutoring rich kids in Brooklyn. "Smart boy like you," he said, handing me a beer, our fingers lingering. "You deserve better than scraping by. Ever thought about real estate? I could show you the ropes." It was flattering, in a predatory way, the way he leaned in, eyes gleaming with opportunity. Alex noticed, his jaw tightening, but said nothing. By the time the sun dipped low, painting the sky bruise purple, Robert had planted the seed. An internship at his firm, starting next month. "Think on it, Jason. Doors open for those who walk through." That night, the storm broke, rain lashing the windows like accusations. I lay awake again, replaying the day, the man's words coiling in my mind. Plans. He had plans. For the house? For Alex? For me? When footsteps creaked in the hall, I sat up, pulse racing. The door eased open, and there was Alex, silhouette framed by lightning, towel around his waist from a late shower. "Can't sleep?" he murmured, slipping inside, the air humming with rain and want. "No." My voice was rough. He crossed the room in 2 strides, sitting on the bed's edge, close enough to touch. "Me neither." "Dad's intense." "Ha!" His hand found my knee under the sheets, tentative, electric. "But he's wrong about you. About us." The word unlocked something. I cupped his face, thumb tracing his jaw, and pulled him down. Our kiss was fire, slow at first, tasting of mint and storm, then desperate, years of almost crashing together. His body pressed against mine, solid and warm, hands roaming like they were mapping home. We moved in whispers and gasps, the bed creaking under us, rain drowning our moans. It was messy, perfect, skin on skin, hearts sinking in the dark. Afterward, tangled in sheets, his head on my chest, he traced lazy circles on my stomach. "I love you, Jay. Have for years." "I love you too," I whispered, the truth settling like peace. For the first time, the house felt like ours. But dawn brought clarity and consequences. Over breakfast, Robert watched us with that knowing smile, like he'd scripted the whole act. "Good talk last night?" he asked Alex, who flushed and mumbled about the weather. Then, to me, casual as coffee, "Offer stands, Jason. Come by the office tomorrow. We'll discuss details." Alex shot me a look, curious, not jealous. "What offer?" "Nothing big," I hedged, but Robert jumped in. "All charm. Just a leg up for your boy here. He helps with the Reno. I help with his future. Fair trade." The word trade stuck like a splinter. Alex bought it, grinning proud, but I saw the calculation in his father's eyes. That afternoon, while Alex ran to town for supplies, Robert cornered me in the garage. "Saw you two last night," he said, voice low, no preamble. "Walls are thin. Don't look so shocked. I'm not blind." My stomach dropped. "Mr. Harlan." "Robert." He stepped closer, too close, his presence filling the space like smoke. "Alex is soft. Dreams big, delivers small. But you're sharp. Ambitious under that nice guy facade." His hand landed on my shoulder, heavy, possessive. "Walk away from him. Clean. I'll make it worth your while. Job, connections, a stake in the next flip. This house sells in a month. Imagine your cut." Betrayal hit like a punch. Not just the offer, the assumption I could be bought, that our night meant nothing against dollar signs. "You're insane," I spat, shrugging him off. "I love your son. That's not for sale." His laugh was cold, devoid of mirth. "Love. Cute. But love doesn't pay bills, Jason. And Alex, he'll thank me later. Boys like you burn bright, but quick. Don't make me prove it." He left me there, hammer trembling in my fist, the garage spinning. When Alex returned, arms full of paint cans and that radiant smile, I wanted to spill it all, warn him, protect us. But the words stuck, fear twisting them into silence. Instead, I kissed him fiercely in the driveway, tasting salt from the rain still drying on his skin. "Everything okay?" he asked, concern etching his face. "Yeah." I lied again, pulling him closer. "Just let's finish this together." The days blurred into a fever dream of labor and longing. We painted the living room walls a soft sage green, like the hills after rain, Alex said, our bodies brushing in the tight space, stolen kisses amid drop cloths. Nights were ours, slow explorations by candlelight, whispers of forever amid the thunder. But Robert's shadow loomed, subtle barbs at dinner, accidental brushes in the hall, emails piling up in my inbox with job listings, each laced with veiled threats. "Think of your future," one read. Alex's too. I deleted them, but doubt crept in. My lease in Albany ended soon. Rent in the city was brutal. And Alex, God, he deserved better than a boyfriend scraping by on adjunct pay. Was Robert right? Was I holding him back? The breaking point came midweek, during a brutal heat wave that turned the house into a sauna. We just hung the kitchen cabinets, custom oak I'd sourced cheap from a salvage yard, when Alex's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, face paling. "Dad wants to meet now. Says it's about the sale." We drove into Saratoga in silence, the truck's AC wheezing like an old man. Robert's office was a glass and steel monolith downtown, all modern edges against the historic charm of the spa town. He greeted us in a conference room overlooking the track, papers spread like a battlefield. "Gentlemen," he boomed, "sliding contracts our way. The buyer's ready. 7 figures. But there's a catch." Alex leaned in, eager. "What? You sign over full control to me. No more renovation dreams. We gut it, modernize, flip fast." His eyes flicked to me. "And Jason here walks. No hard feelings." The room tilted. Alex's chair scraped back. "What the hell, Dad? This was our project. Our..." Robert's voice sharpened. "It's mine, son. Always was." And as for Jason, he turned to me, smile serpentine. "I know about you too. The nights. The indiscretions. Sign, and it stays our secret. Walk away, and Albany gets a nice little story about the tutor who seduced his way into a payout." Rage boiled in my veins. "You son of a... Jay. Wait." Alex's hand gripped mine under the table, trembling. His face was ashen, betrayal carving lines I'd never seen. "You knew, and you offered him a job to buy him off." Robert shrugged, unrepentant. "Protecting my boy. Gays like him, sweet, but fragile. You'll thank me when you're married to some nice girl from the club. Legacy intact." The word gaze landed like a slap, reducing us to footnotes in his empire. Alex stood, chair toppling. "I'm done. With the house. With you." He stormed out, me on his heels, the door slamming like finality. Outside, under the relentless sun, Alex crumpled against the truck, sobs racking his frame. I held him, murmuring nonsense, "It's okay. We're okay," even as my own tears fell. "Why didn't you tell me?" he gasped. "I was scared. Of losing you. Of him being right." He pulled back, eyes red-rimmed but fierce. "He's not. We are." We drove back in fury, rain starting again as if the sky wept for us. That night, we packed my duffel, his essentials, leaving notes, unfinished walls, a life half-built. Robert's pleas echoed from the porch as we peeled out. "Alex, think of the family." But family wasn't blood. It was choice. We crashed at a motel off I-87, cheap neon buzzing outside, and made love like it was defiance, urgent, affirming, sealing our pact. By morning, we'd decided, head south to Asheville, where Alex had a cousin with a guest cabin, a fresh start in the Blue Ridge Mountains. I'd line up remote counseling gigs. He'd apprentice at a restoration firm that valued history over profit. The drive was cathartic, windows down, Dylan crooning on the radio, miles unspooling like shed skin. We talked everything. Fears, dreams, the quiet terror of loving so openly in a world that still whispered judgments. I ignored the signs, I admitted, hand in his over the console. His plans. "But I won't ignore us." Alex squeezed back. "Good. Because you're my plan, Jay. Only one that matters." Asheville welcomed us with mist-shrouded peaks and craft breweries humming with life. We found rhythm quick. A tiny apartment above a bookstore, weekends hiking trails where waterfalls drowned out doubts. Robert called once, voice cracked, "Come home, son. We can fix this." Alex hung up, blocking the number. No more trades, no more shadows. Months later, standing on our balcony at sunset, Alex's arms around me, I felt it. Peace, hard-won and whole. The scar of betrayal lingered, a faint line on our story, but it didn't define us. We'd renovated more than a house. We'd rebuilt trust, love, ourselves. In America, the land of reinvention, we chose our blueprint. And damn, it was beautiful. The first winter in Asheville hit like a freight train, snow dusting the Appalachians in white lace, turning our little town into a postcard of isolation and wonder. Jason and I hunkered down in that apartment, the one with the slanted ceilings and the clawfoot tub we filled with bubbles on lazy Sundays, steam fogging the window overlooking the French Broad River. It was our sanctuary, pieced together from thrift store finds and sheer will, a Navajo rug by the fireplace, shelves sagging under my sketchbooks and his psychology tomes, the faint scent of pine from the wreath we'd hung at Christmas lingering like a promise kept. I'd landed the apprenticeship easy, old Mr. Whitaker at the heritage firm took one look at my portfolio of salvaged architectural details and grinned toothless. "Boy, you got the eye for bones," he'd said, clapping my back with a hand like weathered oak. Paid shit, but it fed the soul, restoring Victorian gingerbread in Biltmore Village, breathing life into ghosts of Gilded Age excess. Jason, meanwhile, zoomed his way through virtual sessions for a nonprofit in Charlotte, trauma counseling for queer youth navigating the Bible Belt. His voice would soften on those calls, that empathetic lilt drawing out stories I'd never hear, and I'd watch from the kitchen, coffee mug in hand, marveling at the man who'd chosen me over security. But choice came with ghosts. Nights, when the wind howled off the ridges, I'd wake to Jason staring at the ceiling, brow furrowed like he was solving us in his sleep. "Penny for him?" I'd murmur, tracing the constellation of freckles on his chest. "Just what ifs," he'd admit, pulling me closer. "What if we'd stayed? Let your dad win." I hated those spirals, the way Robert's poison seeped through cracks we'd thought sealed. But they were fewer now, diluted by routine, morning runs along the river trail, where we'd race to the swinging bridge and collapse laughing. Taco Tuesdays at the taqueria downtown, extra guac because Jason swore it fixed everything. Slow dances in the living room to Coulter Wall's gravelly twang, his head on my shoulder, our shadows merging on the wall. Spring thawed us proper, azaleas exploding in pinks and whites, tourists flooding for the Biltmore's Tulip Festival. We hiked Craggy Gardens one weekend, the air crisp with blooming flame azaleas, and at the summit, with Black Mountains sprawling below like a rumpled quilt, Jason dropped to one knee. Not with a ring, hell, we weren't there yet, but with a wildflower crown he'd woven from the trail, daisies and violets tangled in his fingers. "Marry me?" he asked, voice cracking with that vulnerable grin, hazel eyes shimmering. "Not today, but someday." Say yes to the someday. Tears pricked my eyes. Happy ones, the kind that surprise you. Yes. To all the somedays. We celebrated with moonshine at a holler distillery, stumbling home giddy, making love on the balcony under a sky stitched with stars. Felt invincible, this life we'd hammered together from splinters. Then, summer scorched in, and with it, a letter. Not email, actual paper, crisp and crested, shoved under our door like an eviction notice from the past. I recognized the return address, Harlan Realty, Saratoga Springs, New York. My hands shook opening it, Jason at my elbow, his warmth the anchor. Alex, it began, Robert's script looping elegant as lies. It's been months. Too long. The house sold, 8 figures, as planned. But the check's in your name. $500,000. Use it. Build something. And come home. We need to talk. About family. About forgiveness. Jason read over my shoulder, his breath hitching. He thinks money fixes this? I folded the letter, tucking it away like toxic waste. It doesn't. But $500,000, we could buy land, start our own Reno crew. Go legit. His face darkened, that psych major analysis kicking in. Or it's bait. He wants control back. We argued that night, first real one. Voices echoing off the brick walls. Hurt spilling like overturned paint cans. You're letting him in your head again, Jason accused, pacing the kitchen, flannel untucked and wild. And you're scared of winning, I shot back, the words landing meaner than intended. This isn't about him, it's us. Our future. He stopped, deflating. I know. I'm sorry. Just promise me we decide together. We did, curling up on the couch with takeout pad thai and a bottle of Pinot, hashing it out till midnight. The money stayed untouched in a savings account. Our rainy day fund, Jason dubbed it, ironic given Asheville's deluges. But the letter cracked something open. Ambition, the kind Robert had always preached, now twisted toward our own ends. Fall brought opportunity. Whitaker retired, passing the firm to his daughter, a sharp-witted lesbian named Lena who'd eyed me at the going-away barbecue like fresh meat. You and Jason, huh? She'd said, clinking beers. Cute. But can you run a business? Turns out, yes. She offered partnership, me handling restorations, her the books. It meant long hours, schmoozing contractors at the Orange Peel, drafting bids till my eyes crossed. Jason supported it, even when dinners turned cold on the stove. But strain crept in, subtle as ivy. I come home bone-tired, collapsing into bed while he graded papers by lamplight. Miss you, he'd whisper, kissing my temple, but I'd already be drifting, dreams tangled with blueprints and Robert's voice. Build something real. One crisp October evening, after sealing a deal on a queen and in Black Mountain, our biggest yet, I swung by the apartment early, arms loaded with bouquets from the French Broad Chocolate Lounge. Lavender roses for him, because they matched his eyes in the right light. But the door was ajar, voices murmuring inside, not Jason's alone. I froze in the threshold. There he was, at the kitchen table with a man I didn't recognize. Mid-40s, salt and pepper beard, button-down crisp, laptop open between them. Jason's laugh, that low, genuine rumble, filled the space, and the stranger's hand rested casual on his forearm, thumb brushing in a way that screamed intimate. Alex, Jason said, spotting me, surprise flickering to guilt. You're home early. This is Mark, old prof from Albany. He's in town for a conference, crashing here tonight. Mark stood, extending a hand, smile easy. Heard so much about you. The Reno wizard. I shook it, grip firm, but inside, storm clouds gathered. Pleasure. What's the confab? Job offer. Jason jumped in, too quick. Remote psych director for a startup in Austin. Flexible, good pay. Mark's consulting. The air thickened. Austin, we hadn't discussed Austin. And the way Mark's eyes lingered on Jason, appraising, hungry, echoed Robert's gaze too damn close. Dinner was a minefield. Mark regaling us with TED Talk tales, Jason animated in a way I hadn't seen since college, me picking at my salmon, jealousy souring the wine. Later, after Mark begged off to the couch with an early flight, Jason cornered me in the bedroom. It's nothing, he insisted, arms crossing defensive. Just networking. Austin's virtual, I wouldn't leave. But you thought about it. My voice cracked. Without me, he winced. I was gonna run it by you. Scout's honor. I wanted to believe him, but doubt festered. Robert's letter whispering from its drawer. Choose your future. That night, sex was perfunctory, bodies connecting, hearts adrift. Morning came with Mark's goodbye hug too tight, and Jason's wave too lingering. The fissure widened. Work swallowed me. Site visits to Rutherfordton, where a tobacco barn begged for revival. Client dinners in Charlotte, schmoozing investors with Lena's sly charm. Jason buried in sessions, his empathy a shield against our growing distance. Texts went unanswered. Date nights dissolved into Netflix binges, silence companionable turning strained. Thanksgiving loomed, Asheville streets strung with lights, turkey trots pounding pavement. We hosted Lena and her wife, a boisterous affair of cornbread dressing and queer yarns, but under the table, Jason's hand didn't find mine. Later, washing dishes, he broke. I miss us, Alex. This drift. It's killing me. Me too. I dried a plate, throat tight. But you're pulling away. Austin, Mark, talk to me, he sighed, suds dripping from his elbows. Mark's complicated. We hooked up once, sophomore year. Nothing serious. But seeing him stirred shit up. What if I'm not enough? For you? For this life? The confession gutted me. You're everything. But trust goes both ways, Jay. No secrets. We vowed renewal counseling. Ironically, with a therapist in town who specialized in queer couples. Sessions peeled layers. My fear of abandonment, rooted in Robert's machinations, Jason's imposter syndrome, the poor kid from Buffalo terrified of tainting my legacy. It hurt, excavating, but healed. 2 nights recommitted, bodies and souls realigning under flannel sheets. Winter solstice brought snow again, blanketing the city in hush. We drove to the Blue Ridge Parkway, chains on tires, to a overlook where stars blanketed the void. There, in the truck's cab, heater blasting, Jason pulled a box from his coat. Small, velvet. Inside, twin silver bands, etched with coordinates. Our first kiss under Albany fireworks, the motel after the escape. Marry me, he said, not a question this time. For real. No some days. Tears froze on my lashes. Yes, we wed in spring. A backyard affair at Lena's, wildflowers, craft cider, vows exchanged under a pergola we'd built ourselves. Robert sent a card, stiff, and signed, check enclosed again. I burned it in the fire pit, ashes scattering like exorcism. Years folded. The firm thrived, our crew flipping farmhouses into eco-havens. Jason's practice boomed, authoring a book on resilience in the margins. Kids came via surrogacy. A boy with my curls, a girl with his hazel stare, turning our apartment into a chaotic haven of Lego forts and bedtime stories. But Robert's shadow? It lingered, a reminder. On quiet nights, Jason would trace my wedding band, whispering, "We built this. Us." And we'd smile, knowing the renovation never ended, just evolved, stronger for the storms. The summer of 2030 baked Asheville in a relentless haze, the kind that turned the French Broad into a sluggish brown ribbon and made every breath feel like inhaling soup. Our crew was knee-deep in the old mill conversion downtown, a beast of a project, brick arches soaring like cathedral bones, destined for lofts and a rooftop bar that'd draw the hipster exodus from Brooklyn. I thrived on it, blueprints unrolling in my mind like red carpets to possibility. But Jason, he was fraying at the edges, our anchor starting to drag. It started small, the book tour for Edges of Us, his manifesto on queer mental health, pulling him to podcasts in Portland, keynotes in Provincetown. 2 weeks max, he'd promised at the airport, kissing me fierce amid the chaos of BNA's security line, our toddler twins Eli and Nora, clinging to my legs like burrs. FaceTime every night. Love you more, I echoed, waving till his gait swallowed him, the echo hollow in my chest. Home without him was a funhouse mirror. Meals solo with the kids' chatter filling voids, bedtime stories in falsetto voices for both parents. Lena picked up slack, Auntie Judy's with her wife Mia, but the house felt echoey, walls we'd painted sage now mocking with their permanence. I buried it in work. Dawn starts at the mill, hammering joists till my arms screamed, evenings sketching expansions over takeout burritos. The call came on night 5, 2 a.m. My time, Portland's witching hour. Jason's voice, slurred and shattered. "Alex? God, I fucked up. My blood iced." "What happened? Kid's okay. You okay?" A sob, wet and ragged. "Mark. He's here." Conference overlap. We drank. Talked old times. One thing led shit. "I'm sorry." The world narrowed to static. "Mark. That ghost from sophomore year. The prof who'd resurfaced like bad pennies. You cheated." "No, yes? I don't know." Kissing. In his room. Stopped it. But I wanted to. For a second. I hate myself. Rage and grief collided, a wrecking ball in my ribs. "Come home." "Now." He did. Flight booked before dawn, landing pale and hollow-eyed at AVL. I met him curbside, Eli and Nora mercifully with Lena, the silence in the truck thicker than the humidity. "Talk," I demanded, merging onto I-240, knuckles white on the wheel. "It was nothing," he started, then deflated. "Everything." The tour crowds adoring, validation like crack. Mark's there, charming, familiar. Reminded me of before you. Free. Untethered. Untethered, I spat, veering into our lot. "That's what this is to you? Chains?" "No, God. Alex." He grabbed my arm, desperate. "You're my everything." But I'm scared. Famous now, or whatever this is. What if I lose me? Lose us? We unloaded in fury. His suitcase thumping the stairs, my voice echoing accusations. The kids sensed it, wide-eyed at dinner, Nora's lip quivering over mac and cheese. Bedtime was a battlefield. Separate rooms, me on the couch with a bottle of bourbon, Jason in our bed alone. Morning brought reckoning. Over coffee, black, bitter, he laid it bare. Burnout, the imposter gnawing deeper since the book hit bestseller lists. Mark was symptom, not cause, a mirror to doubts Robert had planted years back. I need help, he admitted, eyes downcast. Therapy, off the road. For us, I nodded, throat tight. Then get it. But no more half-truths. Couples counseling resumed, this time with Dr. Reyes, a no-nonsense Latina with a stare that peeled psyches like onions. Sessions gutted us. Jason's fear of stagnation, my resentment masked as control, echoes of my father's empire building, trading love for ledgers. You're not Robert, Dr. Reyes told me once, firm. But you're building walls like him. Let them crack. We did. Date nights reclaimed. Picnics at the Biltmore Gardens, where Eli chased butterflies and Nora sketched wildflowers. Jason and I stealing kisses behind oaks. Vacations, camping in the Smokies, tent zip tight against bears and bad dreams. Stars our canopy. Sex reignited, slow and sacred, bodies relearning trust. But scars suppurate. Fall brought a letter, not from Robert, who'd faded to holiday cards and signed, but from a lawyer in Saratoga. Harlan Estate, my father, diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, stage 4. Requests reconciliation. Assets to discuss. I stared at the envelope, pulse thundering. Jason found me on the balcony, leaf in hand. Him. Yeah. I crumpled it. Wants to make nice. Before the end, he sat beside me, hand on my knee. Go. Or don't. But decide free. I wrestled demons. The boy who'd begged for approval, building sandcastles only to watch them kick down. The man who'd fled, only to carry the weight. He doesn't deserve it, I said finally. But closure might. Jason nodded. Then go. We'll hold the fort. The flight north was a time machine, turbulence mirroring my gut. Saratoga welcomed with autumn blaze, leaves aflame along the track. The house, our old Victorian, had sold, but Robert waited at his condo overlooking the lake, gaunt in a cashmere sweater, chemo's toll etching him hollow. Son, he rasped, door creaking open, the word fragile. Dad, no embrace. We settled in armchairs by the fire, scotch poured neat, his ritual, now medicinal. He talked first. Regrets. The empire built on shortcuts. Love sacrificed for legacy. I saw myself in you, the drive. Thought I was saving you from weakness. His eyes, once steel, softened. Jason. That night I caught you. I was wrong. Terrified, maybe, of losing the Harlan name. The admission cracked me. You tried to buy him off. Break us. I did. Cough racked him, hand trembling on the glass. Foolish. Pride. But you built something real. Without me. Tears stung. Why now? Time's short. He slid a folder over will revisions, trusts for the kids, a foundation in our name for LGBTQ plus youth housing. Not amends. Just legacy, right? I stayed a week. Hospital vigils, where his hand in mine felt like absolution. Walks by the lake, trading stories, his Vietnam youth, my Asheville joys. No hugs, but peace, tentative as first frost. When I boarded the flight south, lighter, I texted Jason, forgave. Not forgot. Coming home. He met me at baggage, arms open, twins in tow with welcome daddy signs. That night, family dinner, lasagna bubbling, laughter bubbling over, we toasted to fractures mended. Winter healed deeper. Robert passed in December, quiet as snow. We attended graveside, just us, scattering lake pebbles on the plot. Back home, the mill project wrapped. Grand opening with craft cocktails under those arches. Jason's toast slaying. To bones that hold stories. Spring bloomed forgiveness. I mentored a young gay architect, fresh from SCAD, showing him blueprints and heart. Jason expanded his practice. Group sessions for survivors of conversion camps. The kids grew, Eli hammering nails with me, Nora analyzing dreams with Dad. Our loves mirrored. Yet, in quiet moments, Jason's hand in mine, I'd whisper, we renovated the hardest house ourselves. He'd smile, that hazel glow. And it's a masterpiece. By 2035, Asheville had woven us into its warp and weft, the city a tapestry of our making, threads of sweat and story interlacing the warp of mountains. The firm, Harlan and Reyes Restorations, I'd kept the name, ironic talisman, spanned 3 states now, crews resurrecting barns into breweries, mills into maker spaces. Jason's book birthed a nonprofit, Edges Outreach, clinics dotting the South, safe harbors for queer kids adrift in red state seas. Our lives, once a hasty Reno in upstate shadows, stood solid. A craftsman bungalow on a hill overlooking the river, porch swing creaking with bedtime pleas, garden bursting with Nora's heirloom tomatoes and Eli's chaotic sunflowers. But solidity invites storms. It hit on a muggy July eve, the air thick with cicada hum and barbecue smoke from neighbors' grills. Jason was in D.C. keynote at a psych conference, his star ascending, when my phone lit with an unknown number. 518 area code. Saratoga ghosts. Alex Harlan? A woman's voice. Clipped. Efficient. This is he. Emily Voss. Estate attorney. Your father's will. Complication. The foundation, LGBTQ Youth Housing Trust. It's contested. By your uncle, Richard Harlan. Claims undue influence. Trial in 2 months. Need you in Albany. Uncle Richard. The brother Robert had cut out decades back. Bitter over a botched deal. Nursing grudges like fine whiskey. I'd met him once. At a funeral. Cold eyes. Handshake like a vice. Now, this. Suing to gut the trust. Twist my father's final grace into ash. I paced the kitchen. Twins abed upstairs. Their night lights casting starry guardians on the walls. On what grounds? Undue influence from you. Post-diagnosis changes. And personal matters. Your lifestyle. The beneficiary choices. Lifestyle. The word slithered. Venomous. I hung up, fists clenched, and called Jason voicemail. His voice warm but distant. Hey, love. Panel ran long. Call soon. Sleep evaded. Dawn found me sketching furious. Defensive blueprints for our life. Walls fortified. Jason landed at noon. Face drawn from travel. But his hug grounded me. Over lunch, BLTs from the garden. Eli devouring his with glee, we unpacked it. Contest the suit, he said, practical as ever. We've got the docs, hospice notes, witnesses. But the exposure. Nora chirped in from her puzzle at the table. Oblivious. Headlines. Harlan heirs gay, agenda bankrupts charity. Our kids. He cupped my face, thumb stroking my jaw. Fuck the headlines. This is right. For the kids like Eli and Nora could have been in another world. Court prep consumed us. Flights to Albany. Depositions in sterile offices where Richard's lawyers probed like scalpels. My influence over a dying man. Deviant choices tainting legacy. Richard himself took the stand once. Paunchy in a ill-fit suit. Voice booming. Bobby was traditional. Family man. This perversion, it's poison. I testified after. Voice steady. He chose redemption. Over hate. Over you. The jury deliberated 3 days, endless, nail-biting hotel nights in the Hilton. Jason's hand in mine during cable news loops. Verdict. Trust upheld. Richard's claim dismissed. Cheers erupted in the courthouse hall. Lena flying up for hugs. But victory tasted Pyrrhic. Headlines blared. Queer son wins drag battle over homophobic uncle. Tabloids dredging our escape from Saratoga. Mark's indiscretion twisted into scandal. Back home, the fallout lingered. Stares at the farmer's market. Eli asking, Daddy, why do people whisper? Jason fielded calls from outlets. His poise cracking in private nights where he'd pace. Whispering, am I poisoned too? No, I'd affirm. Pulling him to bed. We're antidote. Autumn healed. Tentative. School open houses where teachers gushed over the twins. Harvest festivals with hayrides and Nora's pumpkin pie winning blue ribbons. But winter whispered warnings. A cold snap cracking pipes in the bungalow. Forcing a Reno of our own. Plumbers hammering while we bunked at Lena's. Chaos mirroring our early days. Then, spring 2036. Eli's 8th birthday. A backyard bash with bounce house and cake smeared on cheeks. Amid the glee, Jason pulled me aside, eyes bright with that old fire. I've been thinking. Another kid. Surprise bloomed. Yeah. Surrogate again. Or adoption. There's a boy in foster. 10. Loves architecture. Saw his file through edges. We dove in. Paperwork a labyrinth. Home studies probing our stability with veiled side eyes at the headlines. But we passed. Love, the great leveler. By summer, Mateo joined us. Lanky Latino kid with a shy grin and sketches of impossible bridges, fitting like the missing joist. Family swelled, but so did shadows. Richard appealed, dragging the case to appeals court. Appeals for delays. Stress mounted. My firm teetered under diverted focus. Jason's clinics strained by funding freezes from conservative donors spooked by the suit. Nights, we'd collapse on the swing. Mateo sketching beside Eli, Nora braiding his hair, while we nursed IPAs and aired grievances. I'm tired, Jason confessed one dusk, head on my shoulder, river murmuring below. Of fighting for scraps of normal. Me too, I kissed his temple. But look our blueprint. It's holding. The appeals dragged into 2037. Richard's lawyers unearthing dirt. Anonymous tips about Jason's past indiscretions, twisted into patterns of infidelity. Subpoenas flew. Therapy notes subpoenaed. Our private pains splashed in filings. Publicly, we armored up, Joint op-eds in the Asheville Citizen-Times. Family under fire. Why legacy means love. Jason's voice steady on NPR. Mine in local mags touting the trust's first builds. Tiny homes for trans youth in Knoxville. Privately, it eroded. Sex waned to obligation. Arguments flared over forgotten pickups. Bedtime routines turning battlegrounds. Mateo sensed it, withdrawing to his sketches. Eli lashing out at school. One night, after a brutal hearing, judge sympathetic but remanding for more briefs, Jason snapped. "This is destroying us," he yelled, glass shattering in the sink, shards like our fractured calm. "For what? A dead man's ghost money?" I recoiled, heart splintering. "For justice. For them." I gestured to the stairs, kids' doors ajar. He sank to the floor, sobs heaving. "I'm sorry. I just love you so much it hurts. And this, it's stealing you." We held each other there, amid suds and shards, weeping for the toll. Dr. Reyes mediated again, sessions with the kids' too, family therapy, weaving us tighter. "Boundaries," she urged. "Fight the war, not each other." We did date escapes to the Grove Park in Spa, massages melting knots, game nights where Mateo trounced us at Caton, laughter our mortar. The appeal peaked in fall, Richard's case crumbling under evidence, forged emails, his own bigotry exposed in old memos. Final ruling, trust intact, sanctions on him for frivolous suit. Victory parade was quiet. Bonfire at home, esmores and songs, Richard's defeat a footnote. He slunk away, disgraced, the family schism sealed. Winter 2037 brought bounty, the trust's first ribbon cutting in Asheville, a shelter named Harlan Haven, rainbow flags snapping proud. Jason spoke, voice resonant. "This isn't about winning. It's about building where others broke." Our bungalow reno finished too, expanded kitchen, playroom for the brood. Spring, we renewed vows on the riverbank, kids scattering petals, Lena officiating with rye toasts. To renovations eternal, years blurred, Eli apprenticing at the firm, Nora shadowing Jason's clinics, Mateo bridging worlds with hybrid designs, sustainable homes for immigrant families. Jason and I, silver threading our hair, still danced on the porch, his head on my shoulder, our story etched in laugh lines. In the end, the hardest plans weren't Robert's or Richard's, they were ours, ignored at every turn for love's blueprint. And damn if it didn't stand tallest.